Nice to see some familiar names this afternoon. A lot of anticipation building towards the regular season as the puck drops tomorrow night with a pair of games on the schedule. Commissioner Crawford will be providing his season opening address in just one moment, but before he does that, I'll just inform those tuning in this afternoon, we will have a Q&A period following Bryan's address. You can place yourself in a queue to ask a question by using the raise hand function on the lower interface of Zoom here. And I will try and get to everybody in an orderly fashion once Bryan has concluded his opening remarks. So without further ado, I will introduce Commissioner Crawford. Bryan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Josh, and thank you everyone for joining us today. And welcome to the OHL opening week presented by Delta Bingo and Gaming. It's obviously an exciting week being back on the ice this week and coming off a season that featured an OHL attendance record of 3.2 million fans that went through our turnstiles between the regular season and playoffs. The league has never been in a better place in terms of its health and where it's headed going forward into this 2025-2026 season. This year's season is, of course, starting a week earlier, and really that is a part of an effort to reduce midweek games and the occurrences of 3-3 in an effort to improve the schedule for our players and our fans alike, and we're really excited about the potential ramifications of improvement for this coming year. We've also introduced Rivalry Week for the first time from October 16th to 19th. This is a new initiative that will see some of our biggest rivals in our league take the ice in home series early in the season to really get that momentum going, and we're excited to bring that to our fans this year. Following an excellent inaugural edition of last year's Connor McDavid Top Prospects game in Brantford, we're headed to Peterborough on January 14th, and we'll be launching a number of new initiatives that will surround that game that we'll be announcing in the coming weeks and months headed up to our premier showcase event. On the ice, we've launched a number of new rule changes that we rolled out over the last number of weeks for the coming season that will really see the OHL adopt changes that are in line with the NHL and also place greater emphasis on expanded video review and enhanced technology. We're really excited about the new camera technology that we're installing into all of our buildings and launching here for the beginning of the season that will improve the quality of our review capability, will improve the quality of our ability to coach and mentor and educate, and will, I think, enhance the experience for the fans both in venue and watching on broadcast as well. We're excited to bring new equipment supplier partnerships to the ice this year with Under Armour and Bauer. They'll be providing the league's jerseys and soft goods, and then our apparel, and then also our hard goods and on-ice equipment from Bauer. So partnering with two of the world's premier sport brands is a fantastic advancement for our league, and we're really excited about those new partnerships, and once again, just further experiencing the player experience as well. Speaking of which, earlier this month, we announced a series of new player experience minimum standards that will be implementing in the coming season. This was the result of a year's worth of work by a player experience committee that was started and founded to review the player experience in all aspects that touch this experience of the players from the time that they enter the league to the time that they leave the league. And so our board has approved a number of specific player experience minimum standards, from a suite of medical and therapy services to strength and conditioning coaches, team nutritionists, data and performance collection standards, minimum travel and accommodations, billet standards, off-season training support, and so forth. So this will start to roll out over the coming seasons and will be enhanced on a continual basis and monitored on a continual basis as we seek to just further advance the level of experience that we provide here in the OHL. Further prioritizing the development of the players, we recently announced the launch of the OHL Development League in a partnership with the GOJHL. This will really see a greater collaboration with the league as a development partner of ours to provide stronger pathways for our prospective players to the OHL. You know, certainly long-term is our hope that we'll continue to add additional league partners to this initiative and strengthen those bonds as we develop the best players in the world to play in the OHL and beyond. Certainly plenty of new dynamics with the NCAA change last year. This year, the OHL featured 82 current players that have NCAA commitments. A total of 7 players departed the OHL for NCAA schools prior to the completion of their senior seasons. In total, we have over 60 alumni that are on NCAA scholarships to begin the 2025-26 season. And even more excitingly, in the impact of this rule change and the OHL being able to attract over 112 players from sources throughout North America that have chosen to come to the OHL now and play in our league when they traditionally wouldn't have been there. So the overall quality of the league will never have been stronger with the addition of all these fantastic players to the league this year. We were, of course, really excited just a few weeks ago to announce our new partnership with Flow Media and our media partnership with Flow Sports, a 7-year media partnership to deliver an outstanding broadcast quality product to our fans. So this extends to all of our streaming as well as content creation and digital coverage. And for our fans, not only provides access to the OHL, but of course OHL alumni that are playing in the AHL, ECHL, and other levels, plus prospects that are playing in the GOJHL, our new development league, and other leagues like the OJHL, CJHL, and so forth. So we think an incredible advancement in the quality of the product that we're providing our fans and our partners. We're also continue to work with all of our community TV partners who have been fantastic partners in our league. They'll continue to produce all the games and air the games locally, and we'll continue to offer our Friday night face-off product, the game of the week that will air on the league's social media channel starting this week with London and Owen Sound. So those are all some great initiatives, and we're packaging it all around a brand new campaign called Greatness Starts Here. This is a new marketing and brand campaign that we'll be launching this week, and has started to filter out into much of our content that we're creating. The campaign will feature 7 prominent OHL alumni currently playing in the NHL, and that will connect to this next great generation of OHL talent that really makes our league so special. So a fully encompassing campaign that will include commercials and digital content, branded pieces, and so forth, and really touch everything that we do as a league and as a collection of teams. So we're really excited about the new campaign and looking forward to rolling that out starting this week for all of you. That being said, I'll flip it back to Josh for questions.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, at this time, anyone on the call who wishes to ask a question can feel free to use the raise hand function. Currently don't have any in the queue right now, so I'll just give you guys a moment to populate that for anyone interested. Our first question comes from Josh Brown at the Waterloo Region Record. Josh, you can go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me okay?
We got you, Josh.
You can hear me? Okay, sorry. I was having some mute messages pop up there. Brian, hope all is well with you and the family. Nice to see you. Thanks for doing this. As you know, Kitchener is on the short list for the Memorial Cup. I just was wondering, you've been to a game here at least once. I was wondering what you think makes the franchise special, the rink special, and what Kitchener as a potential host would be like in your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. I can't see you, Josh, but great to hear from you. I've been to multiple games in Kitchener, and certainly dating back to my time well prior to joining the league. Of course, it starts with the fan base in Kitchener and the support that community provides that team, and it is really reflective of the support that all of our teams enjoy in the communities that they're in. The fantastic history of the Kitchener Odd, of course, is unprecedented, or I guess I should say unrivaled, and of course the operations that the team, the way that the team is operated with Joe Birch at the helm is fantastic. Up against a great competitor in Guelph who really mirrors all of the same sorts of things. As I said, that's really what makes our league so special, is the strength of the communities that support our teams, the venues that we have in our league. So really excited by the prospect of either one having the opportunity to host the Memorial Cup in 2 seasons' time, and of course, Kitchener would make a great host for the event.
Did you have anything further there, Josh?
Yeah, I have a bunch of questions, but if there's other people waiting, I can come back, or I can just fire away, whatever's easier.
You can feel free to continue. There's no other questions in the queue right now.
Okay, great. Hey, it's a one-on-one. Who knew? You mentioned it in your intro, Brian, about the NCAA. You know, we've seen some high-profile guys who not normally would leave at this age level. Some 18-year-olds that are NHL drafted, not signed. I'm just curious what your take is on that, a little more detailed on losing some primo players, but also what your pitch is to entice people to stay in this league when the options have never been greater.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think that, of course, we want all the best players in the world playing here in the OHL and playing in the CHL. And so, we certainly don't want to see any great players that still have eligibility depart for other opportunities. That said, it's overwhelmingly the other way, though. Players are overwhelmingly flowing into our league, despite some of the notable departures, and there certainly have been some. To have the number of players that have come into our league this year, as I said, it's 112 that have come into the league. That's more than 3 teams worth of players, great players that have come into the league and strengthened the depth and will become stars. I think the challenge is always that we know the names of the players that are leaving. We don't necessarily all know the names of the players who are coming into the league. So, so that's the first thing. I think that it's important that we understand that the league is the destination of choice. Players are voting with their feet and coming to our league in droves. The draft obviously was reflective of that. Great players that were drafted that have all signed and come to the league that in the past may not have chosen to do so. So that's a great and enviable position for us to be in. Of course, it's our job to focus on the things that we can control, and all of those things that I mentioned about our player experience and the way that we run our league are the things that we can control and are the things that are part of our sales pitch to continue to retain players. Ultimately, we believe that our league is the right place for 16 to 19-year-old players to develop and to reach the highest level that they can reach. And we're developing players for the NHL. And those players that aren't ready for the NHL upon graduating from our league, well, they now have the opportunity to move on to the NCAA. And that is a league that on average is 22 plus years of age, a much older league that is for older players. And we think that there's actually a great kind of harmonious relationship that can be found, kind of once the dust settles and everything kind of finds its rhythm. So, that's where we're headed. We're focused on the things that we can control. We're focused on continuing to be the, unquestioned best league in the world for developing young hockey talent. And I think that, this year we'll see more than ever. We'll see more NHL draft choices than ever. It'll be a fantastic season, and the quality on the ice will reflect that.
Do you want me to keep going, Josh, or you got other guys?
I've got a couple in the queue now, Josh, so maybe we'll circle back in a few minutes.
Sounds good. I had a couple more questions, so if you could add me to the end, that'd be great.
Sure. Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Brian.
No problem. Talk to you in a minute.
Our next question comes from Jansen Dench at the Sioux Star. Jansen, you can go ahead.
Perfect. Thanks, Josh. Hi, Brian. Jensen Denick here, Sioux Star. Just wondering, what is the OHL stance on the CHL's decision not to provide NCAA scouts and coaches with all-access passes this season?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thanks for the question. So, I think there's actually a little bit of kind of misreporting about what, that decision was. So essentially last year, the CHL did, as a collective, we provided CHL passes to all of the NCAA scouts. And I think this year, what the aim and the objective of this year is actually to create a more collaborative relationship between the teams and between the CHL teams and the NCAA teams themselves, so that they're communicating on a regular basis, that they are working together, that it isn't necessarily as much of a bit of a free-for-all as it may have been last season as we all adjusted to that new environment. The reality is that the OHL and the CHL as a whole is going to be a pathway for the NCAA now, and our players will, they are looking for the opportunity to pursue their hockey goals and their academic goals, and that will include the NCAA. And that's a fantastic position for us to be in. But there needs to be kind of structure and order, and there needs to be relationships that are in place to be able to manage that in an effective way that obviously doesn't cause harm or damage to our league. So our communication to our partners in the NCAA and the collegiate leagues has been that they're to work directly one-on-one with our teams and with the management staff of our teams to secure access, to secure the place where they can do their scouting and evaluating, and even work together to secure meetings and opportunities to speak with the players that they're ultimately looking to recruit following their graduation from our league. So a different way of handling it, but by no means kind of shutting them out or anything like that. We're just seeking to have a more direct partnership between our teams and the NCAA teams.
Thanks, Bryan.
Thanks, Jansen. Our next question comes from Scott Wheeler with The Athletic. Scott, you can go ahead.
Hey, Bryan, thanks for doing this, and nice to see you again. I have two questions. First one is where do facilities sort of fit into whatever comes next for the OHL? Obviously, Kitchener unveiled sort of new facilities yesterday, upgraded facilities yesterday. There are new rinks coming in Brantford and Ottawa. But what can the OHL do to support clubs in whether it's pursuing upgrades or pursuing new arenas? What role do you think your office and the OHL can play in sort of helping them in this next phase?
Yeah, I mean, we're central to it. You mentioned we're kind of in a great moment, having the new buildings that are coming online in the next couple seasons in Ottawa, Brantford, Sudbury, right? So three brand new facilities, major renovations happening in Oshawa, Kitchener, which just revealed some of their work that they did this summer. Sarnia is doing a bunch of work. Brantford actually did work to their existing facility, and a number of other projects. Sault Ste. Marie working towards a new project, a fan space project as well, and then working towards new building opportunities in places like Peterborough and so forth. So certainly a big part of our role is doing that. Also, and when we talk about the player experience piece, facility standards is a massive component of that. We've committed to establishing facility standards, and we're working on that project now to essentially establish what are the minimum standards. We want our best in class to be the floor and not the ceiling of our league, right? And so that extends to everything from locker rooms to therapy services to weight rooms, player lounge areas, and so forth. So really elevating our game there. I would put the best of our league on par with any NCAA facility in the NCAA, but we need to make sure that the collective of the OHL is at that standard. So, and we've got commitments from our league and our governors to get there and to focus on it and understand that it is a big part of the player experience. It's a big part of what our value proposition offer is, and they're striving to get there. Seeing teams like Kitchener, that had a great facility, Oshawa that has a great facility, improving even more, obviously pushes the pace and the level of competition to say that this isn't good enough. We want to continue to be the best that there is anywhere. And I'm really proud of our league for taking those steps and working towards that in the coming seasons, and for our municipal partners, right, who own the facilities, by and large own all the facilities, that to work with us to ensure that our teams have the space that they need to compete and to provide the environment that we need so that we can provide the sport and entertainment experience for our communities that we're in.
Thanks. And then just quickly on expansion. Last we spoke, you'd expressed kind of an openness to the possibility. Obviously, there have been developments since then. Is there any update, any news, sort of where does the league stand on potential expansion?
Yeah, so I mean, no necessarily news or updates, but where we stand is, I mean, it's a project that we work on continuously on a weekly, daily, monthly basis. It is something that we're actively pursuing opportunities on both sides of the border to expand our footprint. There's a number of opportunities that are starting to develop, and we're really excited about. These are long-term projects, especially where they might require the construction of a new facility. Right, these are big investments by the communities and take a lot of time and energy to get off the ground. But we're really excited about the prospects that we have ahead of us and the opportunity for us to grow. As I mentioned, having 112 players come into the league, and think about the number of teams that represents. Like that represents a lot of players and demand for ice time and spots that would allow us to expand and keep the league's quality at a really high level, higher than it's even been, while still having more teams participate and ultimately grow our reach, create new fans, grow the sport of hockey. Like that's the whole goal. goal in looking at trying to expand to new communities, right? Bringing the game to more people that maybe haven't had a chance to engage with the OHL and major junior hockey in the past. So we're excited about it. Like, as I said, these are projects that are kind of measured in years and not weeks and months, but one that we're still actively and aggressively pursuing.
Thanks, Bryan and Josh. Cheers, guys.
Thanks, Scott. Our next question will come from Dan Malta with Your TV Peterborough. Dan, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Josh. Just wondering, with the top prospects game coming to Peterborough on January 14th, what type of weight does it hold now that it's just the OHL top prospects game? You got players from a number of different age groups competing in that. So as far as feedback for you guys from scouts or league executives, what does that game mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's our marquee prospects profile event now, right? And we had participation from every single NHL team. We had participation from obviously all of our teams, of course, as well. Quite a few of our players, well, a large number of the players from that game, obviously, be drafted. The quality of the game was extraordinary. It was a great event, and we're going to build upon that. There are tons of great players in our league and that deserve an opportunity to be showcased. I think that while some initially kind of thought it was maybe peculiar to see players post-draft be part of that, it was extremely well received and a great opportunity for those players who needed that chance to be profiled. I anticipate that more and more scouts will seek to be part of that from the NCAA and from other levels of hockey, as well as the NHL. It is a marquee event on our calendar now going forward. As I mentioned or teased earlier, we're going to add other components to that week going forward that we'll announce later in the year. So it'll be one of the biggest things on our calendar going forward, and it's a great opportunity for us to move around to different communities within the OHL, especially some of the communities that might not have an opportunity to host a World Juniors or other big massive events. This is a great event to bring those to those communities and strengthen our relationship with them. So we're really excited about it. Obviously, really thankful for Connor to lend his namesake to the event, and for all of our players for embracing it. And I'm really excited to head to Peterborough for this year's event.
Right. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dan. We'll circle back to Josh Brown with the Waterloo Region Record. Josh, you can go ahead.
All right, I'm back. Can you hear me okay?
Welcome back, Josh.
All right, it's been a while. I just wanted to have two quick questions here, things that have long been rumored and talked about on at rinks and online. I just wanted to get your, sort of set the record straight if you can. How do you feel about increasing the overages to 4? And is that something the league has discussed?
Yeah, no, so that's not something that the league is really currently actively discussing. I've certainly heard, people talk about that, certainly over my first year in the league. Isn't something that we're kind of actively pursuing at this given time. Our roster change this past year was the addition of the additional import player. So that obviously is a significant change. But in terms of overage players, that isn't something we're looking at. That said, we kind of continuously explore all of the aspects of our rules and of our rosters. One of the things I would say that has probably more specifically on the overage player that's had some attention is the idea around goaltenders and how to best facilitate the development of goaltenders. And that's a project that continues to receive exploration and evaluation by our hockey ops teams at the CHL level, given that they're that's a national area of interest.
And this one's close to my heart. Have you discussed returning to a live OHL draft? Is that something the league's interested in or exploring?
Yeah, I think that's something that the league's very interested in, developing properties and additional properties that are, kind of marquee moments on our calendar, and that we've got, things continuously throughout the year. That's a great way, of course, to connect to our fan base and connect to our prospective players and their families, and as a welcoming into the league. So, that's something that we've been exploring over the last year, and hope to work towards, some new exciting announcements in the future.
Will we see that in 2026?
It's possible.
All right, look at that cliffhanger. I love it. All right. Thanks for your time, guys, as always.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks, Josh. I have no further questions at this time. Just for those tuning in here, a video copy of this exchange will be sent out following the call. So if anyone needs to use the video or audio, you can feel free to do that. I see no further questions in the queue right now. So with that being the case, Bryan, thanks for taking the time this afternoon. And thank you all for tuning in. Some good questions and some good exchanges. Really excited about the season. Kicks off tomorrow night. Full slate of action this weekend. Opening week in the OHL. Very exciting time. And looking forward to seeing many of you around the rinks over the coming months. Thanks for everyone's attendance today and have a great rest of your day.